edition. This is the 31st day of December 2025. And of course, it's the last day of the year, the last day of the month of December, and the last day in the year 2025. What that simply means is that this is the last edition of this very show in 2025. By the time we meet next, it's going to be in 2026. And we must thank all of you who have been with us for all this while, ever since we came on board. And you have been consistently with us every day we come on this very program and on other programs. We can't thank you enough because you are the reason we are here. And we are showing our appreciation to you and thanking you for being there, and also hoping that you are going to stay with us as we continue with what we know how best to do. Because in 2026, it promises to be more interesting. It promises to be better and more excellent than you have seen so far. So we thank you this very morning for also waking us with us and being here with us. And at the same time, we thank God that all of us made it through to the end of this very year. And also appreciation to our colleagues and everybody here for all we have been able to do in 2025. Thank you once more, for you are the real MVP, or in the words of football, they will say the GOAT. My name is Franklin Ebuka. Good morning and welcome on board today. So as usual, what we'll do is that we'll bring you headlines from different newspapers and then make an analysis on some of the most topical developments in the country. And I don't do that alone, or we don't do that alone, because we always have our in-house analyst who does justice to the issues raised. This morning, I'm seated with Dr. Tony Olisambeki this morning for the analysis. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Franklin Ebuka. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, the good people of Southeast. Good morning, India, Anambra. Good morning, Indonesia. Good morning, Indosmo. Of course, we are all winners. We are all champions. Having been able to make it to this last day of the year, 31st December 2025, is not a small feat, if you ask me. If you look at what life is all about, the dangers, the risk, everything from January to December 31st, that tells you that we're all winners. We thank God Almighty for making it possible for us to see to the end of this very day, 31st day in the month of December in the year 2025. And we're saying farewell to 2025, and we are going to say welcome 2026. In some countries they have started having or getting into 2026. There are so many countries in the world that they are just there. But remember, it's all about time zoning system. So we are happy. So we thank God for His mercies, for everything He has done for us this very year. So we are glad. So you're welcome. So sit back and then enjoy the program.
Okay, just to remind you that we always live on our Facebook page, Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Get on the page, drop your reaction as the time we begin this very analysis. And also do us a very favor by liking the page and at the same time following. Share the post on Instagram and YouTube. We are Udala Radio. Get interactive on those platforms. Okay, so many developments in the country. Of course, the FCT Minister Yasin Wike, he stayed talking, because some persons believe that ever since Simi Fubara left PDP for the APC, that Wike fears that the structure of PDP might be taken by Fubara, because some persons who are in the PDP are somehow aligning with the APC ever since Fubara moved in. But guess what? The minister has been talking. In fact, he has been going on tours in River State, speaking to different people, telling them that this time around, we are not going to go vote for party. Rather, we are going to vote for personality in respect to Mr. President. And yesterday, being Tuesday, of course, he was somewhere in the River State where he also spoke to the people, saying that the mistake of 2025, or rather, that the last mistake is not going to be repeated by next election. Here in Anambra State, it was glitz yesterday, because on December, should I say, the high point of it was yesterday, the climax where Ijele of Africa Flavor featured at the Phone City, and Ijele came with Odumeje, the one you call comedian, Tony, and we saw the phone there. And during the whole thing, the governor promised that by next year he's going to bring Fino. So it appears that it's going to be a yearly event now, whereby people are going to be treated with phone during Christmas. And of course, here in Onitsha, it was Gulebe Festival where Udala Radio was equally there, and the raffle draw was made. Then EO Cartel, Jericho also featured in a concert. So I must say, people of Anambra said they had it a good time during this very festivity. Then there is this very development coming from Anambra State government talking about openings in the State Internal Generated Revenue Service (AIRS). They said that they have openings for employment, including the chief executive. So if you are interested, find a way to get yourself an application and apply and see if your luck is going to smile in 2026. Then at the national level, Mr. President has ignored calls for the suspension of the implementation of the new tax laws by January 1st. And he said by tomorrow, the laws are going to come into implementation pending when investigation into the discrepancies in the version of the law gazetted and the one passed by the National Assembly. Then for Malami, he's now in should I say in prison custody, because the court reminded him and his son yesterday. And some persons like Chido Denkalo are saying that the hunter has become the hunted. So you can see some persons are gloating over what is happening to Malami because of how he handled the office when he was there. There are so many other stories you might want to track on the pages of these very newspapers today. And the big story could be the planned defection of P2B to ADC today. P2B seems to be speaking from two sides of his mouth, because when the story emerged that he was going to declare for ADC today, he went on Space on Sunday and said he's not going into the ADC because he's been part of the movement. But people around him have confirmed that today is the day at Nickel Lake Resort in Enugu that is going to happen. So by the time we look at the papers, we see what the papers are saying and then do our analysis. So once more, we're saying welcome to the program. So let's begin with the headlines we have on the Punch newspaper. And the big story there is alteration row. Tinubu insists on January 1st for new tax regime. The story is on page 2 of Punch newspaper. It has a writer. President says no turning back on reforms. Atiku PDP slam tax legislation. Another story beside the nameplate says fatal crash. Family demands access to Joshua as FRSC awaits probe report. The story is on page 14 of Punch newspaper. 2026 budget. 10 states plan 4.3 trillion naira borrowing. The story is on page 31. If you check the story, you see that the likes of Enugu and Abia, but I think Bayelsa, Lagos, they are on that very story. And they are planning to borrow 4.3 trillion naira for them to be able to fund the 2026 budget. Some questions have arisen from that. By the time we begin analysis, we raise those questions. FX reserves to hit $51 billion by 2026 CBN. The story is on page 33. CBN is making projections for 2026. Military arrests suicide bomber, recovers 189 AK-47 rifles. The story is on page 14. Anthony, guess what? There's another headline on Punch newspaper disputing what the military said about arresting a suicide bomber. Police is saying you were not the one that arrested. Rather, it was we, the police, that did the arrest of someone. Then another story on the front page of the Punch newspaper says Rivers lawmakers reject Fubara's Christmas gift. Wiki opposes automatic ticket. The story is on page 30. We learned that Fubara directed that 100,000 naira bonus should be sent to the accounts of River State lawmakers, and they turned it down and they sent them back. They sent them the funds back, saying that the governor should not continue to thrive in illegality. According to them, they won't receive money that was not appropriated and minuted on by the House. Lagos Plaza death toll hits 5 as fire raises another market. The story is on pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. Alleged money laundering. Ex-AGF Malami wife son to spend New Year in prison. The story is on page 7. This headline by Punch. the way they put it, to spend New Year in prison. Interesting. PDP sees INEC over candidates' exclusion from Ekiti poll. The story is on page 14 of Punch newspaper. These are the headlines we have on the front page of Punch, and we're going to cross over to the next paper, which is the Guardian newspaper. On page 6 of the Guardian newspaper, you see headline that says, cooking gas. Over 20 million households stick to firewood, charcoal over affordability. And Tony, of course, if you look at that very front page, you see the breakdown. Nigeria's clean cooking gas crisis. You see the story there, the way it was broken down. And maybe, are you going to blame Nigerians when the country is asking that people should migrate to cleaner energy, use of gas and what have you not, and even maybe use of electricity? But when you look at how the price of a kg of gas has skyrocketed, I can recall a year plus, we used to buy a kg of cooking gas for 450 naira, and all of a sudden it's skyrocketed to 800 naira per kg, 1,200, 300, and since then it's been hovering between 1,200 and 1,300 per kg. So how many households will be able to do that? Then look at the cylinders themselves. Cylinders are no longer cheap anymore as it used to be. Now, if you want to buy 6 kg cylinder, you have to spend some money. Things we used to buy for 5,000 before. So this is the crisis there. Then another story on the front page of the Guardian newspaper says FRSC reiterates caution as British envoy governors visit Joshua at Lagos Hospital. The story is on page 7. On page 3 of the Guardian, NICOM insists on July 30 recapitalization, rules out extension. PDP shrinks in Oyo as Aborisha deletes supporters to ADC. The story is on page 3. Somebody could say the decimation of PDP continues. And the story is, who is going to stop the bleeding? Court remands Malami's son over money laundering charges. Check page 6, or rather page 5 of our Guardian newspaper. Then another headline says Tinubu ignores suspension calls, insists new tax laws take off tomorrow. The story is on page 6. Imanana to January 1st, Odekotelaka is tomorrow that the law comes into effect. And Nigerians are still in limbo because of the uncertainties surrounding what was passed or what was not passed. We will fix Rivers leadership mistake in 2027, Wiki declares. The story is on page 5, and somebody somewhere could say, Mr. Fixer, how are you going to do that? Then another story says 2027, we won't accept excuses of glitches. Bode George tells INEC boss, and we hope that INEC boss is hearing. The story is on page 5. 12 trillion naira 2026 debt may tighten liquidity in private sector, CBN warns. This is part of the projection that CBN has made for 2026. The story is on page 16. Tribute for the Guardian ex-COO, late Alex Tomopoulos at 78. And that ends the headlines we have on the front page of the Guardian. We move over to the Vanguard newspaper now. The banner headline says, new tax laws take effect tomorrow. Tinubu insists. The story is on page 9. He has riders, says no substantial issue established to warrant a stop. Calls on stakeholders to support implementation. Fix the law first. PDP urges presidency. NECA endorses takeoff, says delay. Crime against Nigeria. And then another story says alleged money laundering Malami's son docked, remanded in prison. Check page 6. Amotekun nabs 39 terror suspects fleeing Sokoto in Ondo. The story is on page 10 of Vanguard newspaper. CBN project 4.49% economic growth, 51 billion US dollars reserves for 2026. It's on page 5 of Vanguard. The writer says project 12.4 billion, or rather 12.4% inflation rate, 34.6% debt to GDP. 2027, we won't allow another mistake in Rivers. Wicked. The stories on page 12 of Vanguard. 2025, how Nigerians paid more for data calls despite network disruptions. The story is on page 8. And this one says AFCON Super Eagles cruise on, making 3 wins from 3. That's on the sports column of Vanguard. Of course, yesterday, Super Eagles won against Uganda. 3-1 they won, despite playing with, should I say, oh no, of course, a couple of second 11, because outside Kevin Bassey, Oshimen, and a couple of them, I think he made about 8 changes to the starting 11, and they were able to win. And the Onyedika, the guy that used to play at Awada, he scored 2 goals yesterday for Super Eagles of Nigeria. Then transfers above 10,000, banks to start charging 50 naira stamp duty from January 2027. Nigerians are going to pay a whole lot in 2027. In fact, my bank is dealing with me. I'm tempted to call the bank, because was it not that was 2 days ago, my bank charged me 720 naira for SMS for 1 month between November 23rd and December 23rd. 720 naira, whooping sum. Apart from other charges, they do charge on any transfer I make. And now they are saying by 2026, if you make a transfer of 10,000 and above, the bank is going to charge you 50 naira stamp duty. But this time around, it's not going to be on the receiver, it's going to be on the sender. We are saddened by AJ's horror crash. Family, bus tire caused car accident. Police, check page 7. 2027, YOB chose Enugu for today's defection to ADC. The story is on page 26. And to the last newspaper we have this morning, which is the Nation newspaper. We will correct reverse leadership mistake in 2027, says Wike. Alleged 8.7 billion fraud. Malami's son remanded in prison till Friday. The story is on page 2. CBN projects 4.5% growth in 2026. Check page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Inflation to drop further. That's the projection. Rivers lawmakers reject Yuletide gift. Page 3. Edun gets British Royal honor. The story is on page 37. Why tax laws must take off fully now by Tinubu. It has some riders which I'm going to ignore now. Boxing world sympathizes with Joshua. And the last story here says Kano NMPP leadership pits Yusuf against Kwankwaso. The story is on page 31 of Nation newspaper. So these are the headlines we have this very morning on these very newspapers. Next will be for us to begin with the analysis. And of course, I think we have to gloss over what is happening in Kano State before we get to other issues, because it's been in the news for about 2 days now that some grassroots persons have been asking the governor, Abba Yusuf, to defect to the APC. And it's not funny for Kwankwaso, and Kwankwaso, who happens to be, should I say, his godfather or whatever I might call it. So, Tony, you have to come in now before then.
You're listening to the Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, thank you for staying tuned to the Radio 104.7 FM. You are listening to The Polity. My name is Franklin Ebekanda with Dr. Tony Sambeki on the show this very morning. So, what is happening in Kano State? Abba Yusuf seems to be on his way out of the NMPP en route to APC, where everybody has been congregating because of the feast that is ongoing in the party. And the Rabi Pongoso seems to be unsettled. We know that he's been courted for a while by the APC for him to join. But it seems like all the consultations, all the talks, all the discussions, they have not been able to arrive at a ground that could be favorable for Kwankwaso. And we know that in Kano State, he has this political rivalry with Ganduje, who is also of the APC. And the odds could be, if he moves to the APC, what becomes his stance? Would he be able to have the control and maintain his Kwankwasia structure? Now, the governor he birthed, Abba Yusuf, seems to be moving into APC, and Anyamad is never there. So, what is running in your mind, Tony, as a political watcher? Do you see him moving? And if he eventually moves, how is it going to affect the political dynamics of Kano State?
I think it's just politics. There's no doubt about what is going on. You know, in politics has always been a game of interest. There is no permanent enemy, or neither there is permanent friend. What is permanent is interest. So it is important to understand that what is going on between Kwankwaso and Abba Yusuf Kabiru is pure politics. But Kwankwaso did not see this coming very early. So you can understand that these people, of course, if you go by history, you can understand that Governor Abba Kabiru Yusuf was mentored by Kwankwaso. They thought he had always been a member of Kwankwasia movement many decades ago. After the fallout with Ganduje, Kwankwaso decided that the next person to be given such trust will be somebody who may have followed him right from day one. Even Ganduje followed him from day one as well. Remember when he was governor of Kano State from 1999 to 2003, Ganduje was his deputy. And when they came back, because we knew very well that they didn't have 2 consecutive terms. So when they came back, Ganduje was also his deputy, and he handed over to Ganduje. But Ganduje betrayed him in political language, because Ganduje forced him out of Kano politics, barricaded him, prevented him from coming in, and aligned with the center. So the only way to fight Kwankwaso is align with the center. Once you align with the center, the fight has begun, or the lines have been drawn. So that is exactly what is going to happen. I remember Yusuf calling Kwankwaso a God-given leader, and also Kwankwaso affirming Yusuf's independence as a governor of Kano State. But the key problem is the desire for greater political autonomy from Kwankwaso's influence. That's one thing Kabiru is actually looking for. He has served Kwankwaso. He believes that as a servant, I've served you. It is time for my settlement and my freedom. Most times, every servant looks out for one thing: freedom. There will be a day I'll be free. But what kind of freedom? Is that kind of freedom where you are totally severed from your master, or that kind of freedom whereby you are independent but under the supervisory influence of your master? Because Kwankwaso has always said you are independent, but he believes that that independence is not totally independent. So there is also this internal NNPP crisis. Kwankwaso faction seems to have been voted, seems to have been shoved in NNPP. Kabiru is concerned about his 2027 political future, and nothing seems to be going on about the fracas, the faction in NNPP. But Kwankwaso is of the view, Kabiru Yusuf, calm down. If we cannot rescue NNPP, we are going to look for another party where all of us will go into. Just as LSOT has said, he will remain in Labour. If he cannot rescue Labour, when time comes, he may find alternative. It's the same message. But Kwankwaso and Yusuf has been following him. Today, we'll be talking about going to APC. Tomorrow, you'll be called about it. There was a time that we are virtually in APC when Ganduje was asked to resign his position as the APC national chairman. There were discussions. In fact, some of the times, Kwankwaso met President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to see if they can align. The governor of Kano State followed him through. But terms and conditions cannot be sorted out. That was what prevented Kwankwaso from joining APC. He had wanted to be given the structure of the party in the northwest geopolitical zone, not even in his home state. If he had asked for the structure of the party in Kano State, possibly the president may give it to him. But he was asking for more in the entire northwest geopolitical zone comprising 7 states. And Mr. President, look at some of his ministers. those who have followed him through, and those who are also leaders of the party in their home state. How would he concede all these things to Kwankwaso only just to win Kano State? So the terms and conditions cannot be sorted out. In all of that, Kabiru, being a faithful servant, he kept waiting. But now it seems that he has made up his mind. So he has made up his mind to strategically align with the federal government for resources and security and for political future in 2027. So I remember Kwankwaso and his loyalists, they strongly oppose his move, no doubt, but they view it as a betrayal and also the betrayal of Kwankwasia ideals. He issued a warning, a veiled warning, stating that nobody has betrayed us and succeeded, and history shows betrayals of NNPP never end well politically. That was his statement. I just quoted him verbatim. And we know he's just trying to remind Kabiru Yusuf, look at Ganduje. What can you draw from that he betrayed him? How far about his political future? So that's just that. But the most important thing is the fact that Kabiru Yusuf wants to align with the center, and then we know very well he will be defecting to APC with the local government chairman, lawmakers in the Kano State House of Assembly. Of course, he has grip over them, and at the same time, his commissioners, local government chairman, the lawmakers, and other persons. So, but if you look around, the party officials in NNPC, they have appealed to Yusuf to stay. And then they say, this is not the time for you to really defect in all of this.
Tony, now that you mentioned those he expects to defect with, because from what we have gathered now, Kwankwaso seems to have resigned to faith that he might not be able to stop Yusuf from moving into the APC. And he has tried to make moves to reach out to lawmakers to see if he will be able to convince them not to defect with Abba Yusuf. And we also understood that there were plans to impeach Deputy Governor in case he fails to join Yusuf in joining the APC. Now, looking at the way the things are happening now, if eventually Yusuf jumps and lands in the APC, how do you think it's going to affect the political structure in Kano State going into 2027, knowing how Kano election result impact on the presidential election?
I think it will change the narrative, there's no doubt. It will change a lot. I understand. Remember this issue of Yusuf and Kwankwaso, none of us saw it coming. And then I remember in the middle of 2024 and late 2024, it was something which many did not foresee, where it was reported anyway that Yusuf resisted Kwankwaso's request on appointments. There were people that Kwankwaso had slated for appointment into specific positions. Yusuf resisted this request, and he now pushed to have and then assert his independence. So there was a little power struggle within Kwankwasia, not what we are seeing in Kogi State. In the case of Kogi State, Usman Ododo has come out openly to say he has cabal, that there are cabals in his government, that during the time of Yahaya Bello, that he was also a member of the cabal. But in his own government, presently, the leader of the cabal is the accountant general of the state. He's the leader of the cabal. So he said that some of the things they could not achieve as cabal during the time of Yahaya Bello, they are achieving now, that his cabals are achieving a lot. And he said that Yahaya Bello is the leader of the cabal. He has been their leader. So you can understand the relationship between Yahaya Bello and Usman Ododo, who openly and publicly affirmed Yahaya Bello as the political leader in that very state. Of course, we saw the role he played when he was being investigated by EFCC, how he shielded him over time, and we also saw the reconciliation he had with Mr. President. Now, as you speak, Yahaya Bello says are forgiven. Mr. President also named him as a member of the reconciliatory committee he set up. Have you forgotten? So, but we had thought that Yusuf could have been more subservient to Kwankwaso compared to Ododo to Yahaya Bello. But we've seen Ododo bowing to Yahaya Bello, affirming his authority. Yahaya Bello, of course, declared his intention to run for the Senate, Kogi Central, Senatorial District. But in all of this, Yusuf believes that Kwankwaso control is excessive to the point that many thought that Kwankwaso is the governor of that very state. But he talked about impeachment, there's no doubt, because the deputy governor, Comrade Aminu Abdusalam Bazo, because we know very well that he has been there for a very long time. He's also a member of the Kwankwasia movement. He was also, I remember, he previously served as the local government chairman of Bazo local government area, and also a commissioner under Rabiu Kwankwaso. He was Kwankwaso's commissioner. So he was single-handedly handpicked by Kwankwaso as the running mate to Yusuf. But there seems to be a big problem. Just as we saw what happened in Bayelsa State, where the governor defected to APC, the deputy refused to defect because Seriaki Dixon is the political godfather. The political godfather. When the pressure came, Doye Duri bowed. But the deputy governor, who at a point he was chief of staff to Seriaki Dixon, he was a commissioner under Seriaki Dixon, he was a secretary, so everything about him, the late deputy governor of Bayelsa, everything about him politically was made by Seriaki Dixon. So because Seriaki Dixon did not sanction such defection, he stayed back. And exactly what is going on in Kano State, where the same deputy governor, Aminu Abdusalam Bazo, former commissioner, former local government chairman, under Kwankwaso, all this is happening under Kwankwaso, has come out to say, Mr. Governor, I'm not following you. And remember what happened in the case of Bayelsa. They planned to impeach him. He ran to court for protection. He believed that you cannot betray our political godfather like that.
Why is our politics like that, whereby people who are on a joint ticket, maybe one person decides to jump the ship and the other doesn't feel like jumping the ship with him, and the next plot will be, how do we get you out of the space? Is it not possible that people can coexist on different platforms, and if they have an aligning interest, they can still work for the good of the state? Because as it stands now, as it stands now in Kano State, I think Kwankwaso has already resigned to faith that he might not be able to stop Yusuf from moving, because Yusuf has said that his decision is irreversible. But Kwankwaso, being that, according to him, he does not believe, or he doesn't think that Yusuf has a tangible reason for him to move to the APC. Because I want to quote what he said one time. He said, "Will the God that gave us power in 2023 not be around in 2027? And if you look at what Kwankwaso is fighting for, of course, you know that if Yusuf moves to the APC, of course, he's going to go with some part of the Kwankwasia group who are going to align with him. And in that very case, it might affect his ability to use his group to negotiate power.
Definitely, because as we speak now, this rift has split the Kwankwasia movement. Yes, Yusuf controls most elected officials, like lawmakers, local government chairmen, while Kwankwaso retain core ideological loyalists, which include the deputy governor. And as we speak now, Yusuf, from every indication, is planning to enthrone Murtala Sule Garu, the APC's deputy governorship candidate in 2023 election, as a replacement for the deputy governor, Aminu Abdusalam Bazo. So now, and for Kwankwaso, if Yusuf goes to APC, he positions Bazo as the next person that will take up. But the point is, you said that it's a kind of politics where during the election the deputy governors may not want to defer to the principal. No, if you look at what happened in Bayelsa and what is going on in Kano, it's clearly the same thing. Both of them in Bayelsa State have one political godfather, Seraki Dixon. In the case of Kano State, one, Kwankwaso. And because of pressure, because of freedom, because of alignment, a lot of things. Because in the case of Doeduri, he has gone for second term. He's in his second term. So in the case of Yusuf has a second term to begin. Now, he has split the Kwankwasia movement where he has a control. So if you look at the way Kwankwaso spoke yesterday, nobody who has betrayed him ever end well. So
okay, so would you call that a betrayal? Like if somebody who emerged on a platform and rode on somebody's shoulder to become the governor decides to, align with another political party, is that a betrayal? That's number one. Then if the deputy who is on the same ticket with the governor decide not to join the governor in his new movement, is it also a betrayal?
Politics is all about, I think Wike was shouting, agreement is agreement. So if you do not keep to agreement you have with either political godfather or any political son, some of them view it as betrayal. In their own circle is betrayal. But in our own eye, it may not really be. Because we've seen political godfathers being disappointed by their political godsons. We saw how Theodore Oji disappointed Oji Zakal. We saw how Sullivan Chibe disappointed Chibaro Kindamani. We also saw how even Dave Ubai disappointed Martin Elechi, and so many of them. You can go on. I'm just talking about Southeast. You can also talk about Ganduje and Kwankwaso. So there are places, but it's all about political survival, political alignment, because some of these people believe that somebody made you. You did not become political godfather on your own. But in the case of Kwankwaso,
so what is the place of the people in all this mix? Is it all about what is going to favor political godsons and their godfathers at the detriment of the people who they are supposed to be their leaders?
But I don't know. The people in this case, they bear the brunt. They have been the one bearing the brunt. If the political father and political son, if they fight, the people suffer. But when they dine, the people will not dine with them. But if they quarrel, the people bear the brunt. So I have said it many times. What is the place of the people in all of this political alignment and realignment? What the people want is development, social security, human capital development, infrastructural development. These are things people want. Good economy. So do you think the party is not going to matter if you pitch your tent with any party and you're able to deliver? That people are not going to care. There are people that ideologically follow some political parties because they believe what they can offer. There are people who are ideologically following political parties. So in that sense, you find out that they may be disappointed in that case. They may be disappointed not for the fact that they may not get what maybe they request, but for the fact that it seems to be a betrayal. In some of these regions have this sense or attachment with some political parties. So sometimes some people tell you APC is anathema in Southeast, but we've seen APC making some inroads, making some gains. So we've seen that. So the thing is, everybody is trying to align and realign for 2027. Remember yesterday I said the politics of 2027 is hereby declared open. And we've seen a lot of things going on in the polity. Today, Peter B will be defected to ADC officially. He said that he has been in ADC. He has not registered as a member of African Democratic Congress. So he's going to do that today in Enugu State. And we've seen Oti not following him through. He has given his reason. Of course, he said he was communicated, but he may not follow through. So Oti is also making his own political calculation. And he said that he was in Labour Party before P2B joined. He didn't join Labour Party because of P2B. He said that he must contextualize it for people to understand. So Everybody is making his own political plan, making his own political calculations, making his own political arithmetics. So it is, for me, personal things. But people may not even understand this. They may not understand. These politicians know what they want. They know how to go about what they want, when to go, when not to. So, most times, you cajole a political party that this political party is this. I have said it many times, most of these political parties are the same. Are they not the ones making movement from one to another? Okay. So what has changed?
Okay, so what has changed? And by the time we return for this very commercial break, we'll have to delve into the issue regarding Peter Obi's planned defection to the APC. Let's get to find out, is he actually leaving Labour Party to move to the ADC, or he'll still be in Labour Party and then be caucusing with ADC? All these are going to come into play after this very commercial break. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
104.7 Udala Radio.
Merry Christmas from all of us.
Udala Radio.
104.7.
Now hear the Christmas Day sweet part. Let's go. Bells they ring for the street tonight. Children they dance under Christmas light. Mama they cook jollof, aroma they rise. And for they smile, joyfully miles. No, no, they for body love they warm. Afro be breathing, happiness don't come. Oh, from Onitsha city to every home. Now celebrate shine, food is on. It's a Udala Christmas. Oh, oh. Everybody gather, make we jollof. Up the tree, let it shine, let it shine. Love for the season, make we share, make we bind. From morning to night, Udala hold you tight. Now Christmas magic, your delight. Udala, Udala, Christmas day sweet, oh Udala, Udala, feel the beat, oh. From all of us at Udala Radio.
Merry Christmas, wetalanye angole no bioto. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from all of us at Udala Radio 104.7 FM, the voice of the region. As the year draws to a close, we pause not just as a radio station, but as a grateful partner to say thank you. Thank you for believing in our voice. Thank you for trusting our platform. And thank you for choosing to grow with us throughout this year. From the beginning of this year to its final days, your support kept our microphones on, our programs impactful, and our community connected. Your patronage was more than business. It was confidence. It was partnership. At this moment, we sincerely appreciate Winners Global Estate, Celebrity Landlady, and Anti-Drug Organization. We say thank you to Wendy's Bread, Baboyo Herbal, Olojugu Microfinance Bank, and The Real Homes. Our gratitude also goes to Crystal Garden Estate, Fazona Real Estate, Best Aluminium, Microfinance Bank, and Choose Star and Correct Star Wire. We acknowledge the support of Aswage Assets, Waskana Solar, the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company, EEDC, Higher Ground Real Estate, Zenapex, and Christ Embassy. We also appreciate the Onitsha North Local Government and the Anambra State Government for their trust and collaboration. As we step into a new year, we do so with renewed commitment, fresh energy, and a promise to serve you even better. Thank you for an amazing year. We look forward to greater partnerships, greater impact, and greater success together in the year ahead. Because together, We are Udala. 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, thank you for staying tuned to the Radio 4.7 FM. It's 2 minutes past 10 a.m. and you're listening to The Polity on the Seriously Authentic radio station. We are live on our Facebook page, Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Get on that very page, drop your comment and share that very video. My name is Franklin Ebeka and I'm with Dr. Toluson and Becky. We've been responding to some of the issues captured on the newspapers we have this very morning. So let's talk about what is happening to P2B, because today happens to be the D-Day, the day he's going to officially declare for the ADC, and the event is scheduled to happen at Nike Lake Resort in Enugu. And from what we gathered from the leader of Obedient Movement, Tanko Yunusa, he said everything had been put in place for this very defection to happen, and he said that there was a reason for choosing Enugu for this defection, because ordinary people might think that he should choose Anambra State, or he should do this in Anambra State, where he's expected to officially register at his ward level, because if you're going to join the party, you are expected to go to your ward and register. But this is happening in Enugu, and Tanko has something to say about that. He said that Enugu was chosen Southeast wants to make a statement that is going to shape 2027 presidential election. And at the same time, he said Enugu holds a historical significance for the Southeast. That's why it's happening there. So, but Tony, what I'm wondering about is why there seems to be this double speak coming from the P2B and his quarters. 2 days ago, it was everywhere in the news that he's going to defect on December 31st, being today, alongside lawmakers elected on the platform of the Labour Party and some other persons. And we saw how Oseliko Baze registered with ADC, telling us that, there was a grand swirl in preparation. But on Sunday, he went on Twitter Space or on X Space, and questions came around his very corner. He said he's going to be on the ballot on 2026. He has not traveled around the world to gather experiences to become somebody's running mate. And at the same time, he said he doesn't need to move to the ADC because he's been part of the coalition. And now we're having another explanation coming from Tanko Yunusa. How are you putting these things together?
I think Mr. P2B should not be a Confucianist. He should be very clear in his dealings, in his movement to his supporters. He has teaming supporters. But he should always maintain clarity. Yes, you've been in ADC because during the last governorship election in Anambra State, people were asking, which party do you belong? Are you in ADC or are you in Labour Party? Because we saw him supporting the candidate of Labour Party, who could not win his polling unit. We saw him supporting the candidate of Labour Party. And we also saw the candidate of ADC. When we asked him, was P2B supporting him? He said that he is not the person to answer that question. That P2B should be the one to answer the question whether he was supporting him or not. So there was confusion as which political party he was in at that time. Because he can't just say he had been a member of the coalition, but you were supporting the candidate of Labour Party in that election. So I think the best thing he could have done would have been a situation where we would tell them that he is yet to join ADC, that he had discussions with them. Forget all this coalition. ADC is a political party. Then if there are other parties that want to join them, fine and good. What is a coalition party? Coalition party is where political parties collapse into another party. That's coalition party. I don't think if I've seen any political party that has collapsed into ADC that makes them bear the name coalition party. If Franklin, if you are aware, tell me, has any political party collapsed its structure 100% to ADC? None for now. So why are they building coalition party? If a political party wants to remain intact and work with another political party, becomes alliance. In alliance, you don't need to collapse a structure, but you may work with their structure and support the other political party. That's an alliance. So the point I'm trying to make is he should make these things very clear to people, especially those that follow him and his teaming supporters. There's no doubt, because you said he was speaking from the both sides of the mouth, but I think there was a confusion a little bit in there. What is happening today? If you are not a registered member of a political party, you are not a member of that party. Forget whatever nomenclature you would want to throw about. What makes you a member of a political party is when you are registered. Even Atiku, that got his registration the other day, all this while he had been an affiliate of ADC. He had never been a member of ADC. He was affiliating with them. The moment he registers, that was the moment he became a member of that party. So as we speak today, Peter Obi has been an affiliate of ADC. If he picks up a registration today, he becomes a member. And he ceases to be a member of a Labour Party as we speak today, because the event is scheduled today at Nike Resort, as we are told, in Enugu State. He is still a member of Labour Party. But if he picks up registration today, he becomes a member of ADC. And for now, there is nothing coalition about ADC. I have said it and I have explained it politically. I like, making certain clarifications until we see political parties collapsing into ADC or intended to. Yes, we now say, of course, that is a coalition party. But for now, it's a party on its own, where people are defecting to, and possibly a party primed to challenge APC in the next election.
So some things need to be made clear today on the part of B. On his part, what one is for him to openly tell Nigerians and his followers whether he has officially registered as ADC member, or whether he is going to remain Labour Party member and then be caucusing with ADC. That's number one. Then number two is where he stands. Has he accepted to be a running mate, or has he accepted that whatever becomes the outcome of the primary election, he's going to work together with other people who are in the coalition for them to be able to see how they will be able to wrestle power from the incumbent? Or if eventually after the primary it doesn't go his way, whether he's still going to tear apart the coalition, because many persons I have watched who are his ardent followers, they said irrespective of where he goes, they are going to go with him. But there are some other persons who believe that once he leaves and goes to a place where he's going to play second fiddle, they will not be able to offer support to him. So what do you expect from him today that is going to send a clear message on where he stands as we prepare for the general election?
The only thing I expect from him today is that he will pick up membership card of ADC. That's the only thing. But as whether he will tell the people that he has accepted to be a running mate, he's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. There are certain agreements you don't make public. In fact, all the while Wike has been shouting agreement is agreement. Have you heard him say anything? But from what he has said, we are making deductions. We are making certain extractions. But just like I said, part of agreement between Obi and ADC and even Atiku is the fact that he's going to be on the ballot during the primaries. He's going to go for presidency at the primary level. And if he's defeated, he would accept to be the running mate. That's the agreement. He has been given a clear bill. Test your popularity at the primary. If you wins the primary, you become the candidate. But if you lose it, if you win the primary, you become the candidate. But if you lose the primary, you accept to be the running mate. You remember, I think somebody posted something, I think aviation minister, Festus Keyamo, he made a tweet when it was reported that Obi will be joining ADC officially today. He said somebody has accepted to be the running mate. That's what Festus Keyamo, the Minister of Aviation, tweeted. Somebody has accepted to be the running mate. Obi will be at the primary contesting for the presidential ticket of ADC. But the agreement is that if he fails to win the ticket, he becomes a running mate, and which is better for him. I've always said that. It's better for him. And I've made it clear that for you to take power from Tinubu's grip, you will need that kind of massive support from the North, which Obi may not have. So it's only Atiku that will have that kind of support. But just like I've always said, the odds will favor the president, Tinubu.
Okay, so talking about that 2027, because someone somewhere who has arrogated the power to share to himself is speaking, talking about the minister of the FCT, some weekend, former governor of River State. He was somewhere in Kana, in Bori, which is in Kana local government area of River State, on Tuesday, where he met with people of the area. He said he didn't come for politics, rather, he came to thank them for supporting him and President Bola Tinubu during 2023 election. But the person who said he didn't come for politics actually, talked about politics, saying that by January 2026, they are going to begin politics. But he said something. He said that the election mistake they made, or his camp made in River State, is going to be decisively corrected in 2027. Though he did not mention River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara by name, but his remarks were widely interpreted as making reference to the ongoing power struggle in that very state. People think that from what he said, he believed that for the fact that he enthroned Fubara, and Fubara has not shown deference and loyalty to him, that in 2027, someone else is going to emerge. Now, let's get to listen to it and then enter into this analysis.
Nothing like APC, nothing like PDP. What we have is renewed hope. We are not voting based on party. We are voting based on the fact that we have taken a decision that we belong to one political family, and that's the renewed hope family. As for the state, we will not make a mistake again. How you know is the first one you have done. And then say thank you. So if you make another mistake, that means they will drive you out here. Just be assured. From January now, we will start politics.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Certainly, you heard from me yesterday week here. Two things I want to ask now are, the first one is this. Now, if Wiki has the power, if he has the structure, if he has the wherewithal to ensure that whatever mistake he made in the last election is corrected, and if we're going to spill the beans, if he has the power to stop Fubara from contesting or winning a second term, that's number one. The number two is this issue of Wiki going from one point to the other, making references or speaking in innuendos. Is he afraid that Fubara might take away his structure that he cherishes away from him?
The question is, does Fubara have any structure, political structure in River State, apart from controlling those he appointed as commissioners? Remember, the local government chairmen in River State, they all support Mwike. River State has about 23 local governments, and if you look at, Mwike has been going from one local government to the other. You mentioned Gokana, where such statement was made. Remember, he was also at Omoma local government. The other day he was at even Oba Ebema Ndoni local government. And I think maybe I will be looking to a day where he will be going to Okpobunkoro, that is the local government where the governor is from, and see the reception he may likely have at Okpobunkoro local government area of River State. So in all of this, he's playing politics. We are getting close to 2027, and you have not found time to thank people for supporting you when you ask them for support, or when you ask them to vote for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You did not, for once, deem it fit to thank them all this while. Election is coming close. Now you are thanking them. And you say they are not playing politics. I think you are just being economical with the facts. He has begun his politics. He said that politics will begin in 2026. Wike has begun his own in 2025. So if you look around, he is making local government tours. So I think I'm looking forward to see him going to Ahoda East, even Ahoda West, even Akuku Toro, Andoni, even Asara Toro. So you expect him to be even at Degema, Eleme, Emohu. He was at Emohu the other day. He was at Emohu. So Eche, Ikwere, all these local governments will follow through, or even Okrika. He was in Port Harcourt. He spoke the other day at Port Harcourt local government. Even Tai, I don't know when he's going to visit Tai, but the truth remains, he hasn't gone to his own local government, which is Obiapo. So he has begun his own politics, no doubt. So forget all these statements he's making. So he hasn't come to thank these people. He has come to just tell them that.
Do you think he can stop Obara?
Wike is in charge of River State politics. The only savior Fubara we have will be when President Bola Tinubu will call on Wike, allow him to run for the governor. And remember what APC South chairman said. Gaidom told Fubara, if you want to contest anything, go to Wike. He said it yesterday. Victor Gaidom, he said it. If you want to you cannot contest anything in River State without going to Wike. If APC Vice National Chairman South will make such pronouncement, what else are we talking about? We know very well the role Wike played to put Gaidom there. Even as APC Vice Chairman South, even as a member of PDP, he played a role. So everything about Fubara is a political lame duck. Because wherever he goes, we sing crowd around Fubara. You sing crowd. But for you to win election in River State, you must have structure. Because if you don't have structure, even if you get popular vote, those votes cannot be protected.
So if somebody calls him a political eunuch, the person is not wrong.
The person is not wrong. So the point is, Fubara believes President Bola Tinubu may do something. If you look at what is going on, he sent 100,000 to House members. For me, he couldn't have done that. What is 100,000? And the House members reminded him that you can't do that without legislative process. All the governors did the same thing. They did Christmas bonuses to their workers, and Fubara did the same thing other governors did. The State House of Assembly reminded me, you cannot do that. That before you can do that, we must appropriate it. He could also approve that through his security votes. Yes, because security votes is a kind of pocket money he can use the way he wants. Yes, because even when doing appropriation law, they did not in any way condition how security votes will be used. There is an open check for governors, it's pocket money. So probably it could be from him, but he instructed Accountant General of the state to make such payments, and they rejected it. They said they are returning the money. They can't, that is legality. This is to tell you the fight is on. Between Wike and so they are shouting that are supporting Tinubu. The only thing Fubara is assured now is that he will not be removed through impeachment. He will not be removed through state of emergency. But Wike has told him that mistake they made in 2023 will not be repeated. Agreement is agreement. The last time you were reinstated, before Mr. President reinstated you after the emergency, you had an agreement with him that you will not go for second term. So the issue is that you have to stick to that agreement. But for true Fubara, he has to find a political survival route. And that route is only in Mr. President. For many Nigerians that have been supporting, many have lost such support. They are not giving, people that are supporting Fubara now, they are those in River State. Those people wherever he goes for political rally, they will be singing. And he has adopted Wike's stand. Wike goes with live band, and you are going with live band. And then Wike will dance, and you will dance. Wike will give a chorus and lead, you will give. So he's doing mostly what Wike is doing, but Wike sees that as a challenge.
Okay, so Mr. President yesterday issued a statement he personally signed. Because each time Mr. President signs a statement pressed by himself, it conveys different significance. And yesterday he signed a press statement, which I'm going to, let me just quickly read through because it's not that long. It says, the title is New Tax Laws will commence on January 1st, 2026 as planned. The new tax laws, including those that took effect on June 26, 2025, and the remaining acts, scheduled to commence on January 1st, 2026, will continue as planned. These reforms are once in a generation opportunity to build a fair, competitive, and robust fiscal foundation for our country. The tax laws are not designed to raise taxes, but rather to support a structural reset, drive harmonization, and protect dignity while strengthening the social contract. I urge all stakeholders to support the implementation phase, which is now firmly in the delivery stage. Our administration is aware of the public discourse surrounding alleged changes to some provisions of the recently enacted tax laws. No substantial issue has been established that warrants a disruption of the reform process. Absolute trust is built over time through making the right decisions, not through premature reactive measures. I emphasize our administration's unwavering commitment to due process and the integrity of enacted laws. The presidency pledges to work with National Assembly to ensure the swift resolution of any issue identified. I assure Nigerians that the federal government will continue to act in the overriding public interest to ensure a tax system that supports prosperity and shared responsibility. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, and it was dated December 30, 2025. Tony, what did you pick out from this very message of Mr. President? He said, we are not unaware of what is going on, but there is nothing substantial for us to drop this.
Just like I said yesterday, we've seen the controversies, and he also said, he added in that very piece you read, that the National Assembly will work with the presidency to iron out the issues involved. But we demanded that the discrepancies, as we mentioned yesterday, they must be investigated. Who put those things there? Who inserted those things? And for what reason did the person do that? If we fail to begin to ask necessary questions and demand honest answers to some of these questions, we will not make any headway. For no just reason, somebody started inserting certain things, arrogating powers. In fact, I listened to what Tunde Not posted on Instagram, and I discovered that the chairman of Tax Reforms Committee and Physical Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, was at a point saying that money will be deducted from your banks, from your account, if you fail to make certain disclosures and you fail to prepare certain things that they have to monitor your spendings. Like if you say that you earn 1 million or 2 million and you are buying new cars, you are making spendings, you are buying this, they will ask you, how come about these things you are making? How come about these monies you are spending on these things when you are making so amount of money? So if you don't have explanations to these things, that your account will be deducted or for tax reason, I think that was why some people believe that this issue of deductions from bank accounts is something that we must take serious. But just like the lawmakers legislated upon, you don't make deductions without recourse to courts. And in that fake version, such powers were inserted. You make arrests, you make deductions. No. But the ones legislated upon, you don't have such powers without recourse to court. You have to take the person to court first. So I think that's why we are concerned about having the original version. And I said there will be public withdrawal of that fake version and then the original version reinstated. And at the same time, investigation and possible prosecution will follow over what transpired and who inserted those clauses. Those clauses that gave arbitrary power to tax authorities. Tax authorities do not have arbitrary powers. Their powers must be rooted to court.
So Tony, let's talk about the kind of communication we have had from the government ever since the signing of this very tax bill into law. Because it appears like the communication has been disjointed. That's why many Nigerians have different things in their mind. At some point in time, the government said that they're going to tax prostitutes. We know the kind of frenzy it generated. At some point in time, they said for any money you earn is going to be taxed. At a point in time, it was even reported that they said that the money that comes into your account is going to be traced, so that they will ensure that people pay for money they earn. But this time around, we have heard from government sources too, trying to explain that some of the things that people have heard, that they are not valid. Take for instance, yesterday, the Udala you reference, he was on another TV program where he talked about this whole thing, and he reassured Nigerians that the new tax reforms, which are going to take effect by tomorrow, that they will not involve automatic debit from personal bank account, and individuals do not need to provide any kind of explanations for transfers. So how do you look at the communications we have had? Is the government responsible for what people have been consuming and the ideas they have in their head? Or maybe Nigerians have not been able to read on their own what the law says?
I think Oyedele has made certain comments that generated controversies. When he said that prostitutes will be taxed, he didn't come out clear on how prostitutes will be taxed. Many Nigerians started asking, how would you know who is a prostitute? Is it written on the face? Is it not written on the face? But it is very clear. If they want to tax prostitutes, they know brothels. They know where some of these prostitutes hang around. And where they hang around, they will require their list from these brothels. And once they require their list and their names, and possibly from their list and their names and their accounts, they will tax them. So it is very simple. They don't need to go door to door to chase them. But then when they also say they will tax hookup girls, because hookup girls, they are not aligned to any brothel. They do their own online. But through banks, what that means that they are going to monitor accounts, how money comes in, especially where somebody is known not to provide any service or product, and money comes in as a gift. So if any money that comes in as a gift, because whatever he gives a hookup girl now become, even if it's a service charge, will be deemed as a gift. So some of this money that comes in as a gift, they may begin to investigate what the person does. Yes, but has the government capacity to look into some of these things? The answer is no. They don't have the capacity. But they say they are going to introduce technology or software or even artificial intelligence that will help them to monitor some of these things. And many Nigerians, that's why many Nigerians are reacting the way they are reacting, and then saying that you can't just do that. What have you provided for us? Have you fixed the road? Have you maintained this? Have you provided infrastructure? Have you fixed educational routes? Have you fixed? You can't monitor our lives. That's what Nigerians are saying. Because if government wants to monitor our lives, it's through accounts, bank accounts. That's how it is being done. Everywhere, even in Europe, accounts are monitored. If money comes in, the person who sent the money will be looked into what he does, what service does he provide, what product does he sell, and the person who received the money, what does he do or what the person is registered for. And if there's no traceable things, then investigation comes in. Okay. And such in and outflows, before you know it, once they are able to, you can be invited to the authorities, to the bank. Their bank can call you and ask you that there is something you need to fix. You don't know it, the authorities are waiting for you. Come there, they will interview you. So there are ways government will find out, even if you are hook up or not hook up, if you are doing this, if you are not doing this, they can employ AI. But do they have the capacity? From what I'm seeing, they don't have the capacity.
Okay, so we're going to go for commercial break now. After it is going to be for us to open the phone lines for you to join. But I just want to plant these very questions on your mind, because if you look at the headlines, you see that one headline is saying that 10 states plan 4.3 trillion naira borrowing to fund 2026 budget. If you look at the story, you will see a couple of states mentioned.
Lagos, Ogun.
Exactly. Enugu State,
Abia, Imo.
mentioned, they all mentioned.
I saw that.
And if you look at this very state, of course, look at the level of development in those states. Look at what the government of the day, has been able to achieve, or what the governments of these states have been able to achieve. What they have been doing in terms of governance development, public fund management. Would you say that, of course, we don't need to stress that they are going to borrow? If they borrow, of course, we are going to plow it into development. If you try to compare it to some states who have not borrowed, the likes of Anambra State, that decide to work within the ambit of what they can garner, what they can control.
They say that their own kind of funding deficit will be hybrid option.
Exactly. So
we have public-private partnership, and at the same time trying to expand the tax rate. There are other things they mentioned.
So if we're going to compare with state like this, so how would you place it? Because if you look at some of these they mentioned, look at their 2026 budget. They did what they call ambitious budget. They are in the region of 1 point something trillion. And Anambra is doing about 700 something. And these very states who are aiming higher for that very 1 point something trillion, people are now asking questions. Would it make sense that, okay, you are going to borrow to plan into projects, then put us in debt? Those things you are going to put the borrowing into, would they be able to regenerate and be able to pay this very debt? Okay, so let's go for this commercial break. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Udala Radio, 104.7 FM.
Quality bread, Wendy's bread. For your family breakfast, Wendy's bread. I'll pack it on the yellow, Wendy's bread. Mama, papa, they like Wendy's bread. Chicken and do Wendy's bread. Even children, they like Wendy's bread. Oh, Wendy's bread. I'm in town. Wendy's bread. You get it better, tasty, we go sweet your belly. Wendy's bread. Wendy's your bachichoma. Wendy's bread.
Wendy's bread, tasty bread. You can contact us on our official address, Second Business Park, Enugu Road, GRA, beside CPS, Misha, Anambra State. We also have another branch at St. Michael Plaza at Tandy Road. Also contact us on 070-1149-1571. Wendy's bread, your tasty bread.
Wendy's bread.
Public notice. The governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, CFR, has set up an ESCO committee for the recovery of all government land at Otumoye Creek, Onitsha, in Onitsha South local government area of Anambra State. All persons purportedly laying claim to all those parcels or plots of land located at Otumoye Creek, Onitsha, are by this notice requested to submit the following documents to the Office of the Commissioner for Lands. 1. Allocation letter. 2. Certificate of occupancy. 3. Building plan approval. And 4. Any other relevant documents conferring ownership of such plots of land to the individual. All documents are to be submitted in 2 sets within 14 working days from the date this notice was first published. No submission will be received or attended to after the expiration of the said 14 working days. Signed, Mrs. Nkiru Mokwe, Esquire, Permanent Secretary for Commissioner for Lands.
It's the fiesta of the year. It's the carnival of the year. The Anambra State government, led by the Solution Governor, Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo, CFR, presents Onwa December. A special sizzling and scintillating Christmas extravaganza that will make December 2025 a spectacular December in Anambra State. Onwa December, featuring City Block, a live performance by various Gen Z musicians in Anambra State on 18th December, 6 p.m. at Oka City Stadium near Solution Fund City, Oka. Anambra Christmas Carol on 20th December, 4 p.m. at Alex Ekweme Square, Oka. Children's Christmas Festival on 25th December, Christmas Day, 2 p.m. at Solution Fund City, Oka. Ibon Mawu Festival on 28th December, 2 p.m. at Township Stadium, Ekulobia. Novelty Match on 29th December, 2 p.m. at Oka Township Stadium. Ibon Mawu Festival on 29th December, 2 p.m. at Ezachima Primary School, Onitsha. Flavor Homecoming, featuring Flavor Nabania and Friends on 30th December, 5 p.m. at Solution Fund City, Oka. Walk for Life, an opportunity to keep fit on 3rd January 2026, 7 a.m. at Alex Ekweme Square, Oka. LOL, Laugh Out Loud, a special comedy show on 3rd January, 5 p.m. at Solution Fund City, Oka, Indianambra. Get ready for a December to remember. Onwa December. Be there.
As the year draws to a close, we pause not just as a radio station, but as a grateful partner to say thank you. Thank you for believing in our voice. Thank you for trusting our platform. And thank you for choosing to grow with us throughout this year. From the beginning of this year to its final days, your support kept our microphones on, our programs impactful, and our community connected. Your patronage was more than business. It was confidence. It was partnership. At this moment, we sincerely appreciate Winners Global Estate, Celebrity Landlady, and Anti-Drug Organization. We say thank you to Wendy's Bread, Baboyo Herbal, Olojugu Microfinance Bank, and The Real Homes. Our gratitude also goes to Crystal Garden Estate, Fazona Real Estate, Best Aluminium, Microfinance Bank, and Choose Star and Correct Star Wire. We acknowledge the support of Aswage Assets, Waskana Solar, the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company, EEDC, Higher Ground Real Estate, Zenapex, and Christ Embassy. We also appreciate the Onitsha North Local Government and the Anambra State Government for their trust and collaboration. As we step into a new year, we do so with renewed commitment, fresh energy, and a promise to serve you even better. Thank you for an amazing year. We look forward to greater partnerships, greater impact, and greater success together in the year ahead. Because together, we are Udala. 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
From the commercial city of Onitsha comes Udala Radio 104.7 FM, the voice of the region, where authentic news and entertainment meet. Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Of course, you are listening to the Polity, and it's time for us to bring you on board. You need to get involved now and share your thoughts on the issues we have analyzed this morning. 080321, or rather 0803-221-6973 or 0803-827-6694. My name is Franklin Bekandam with Dr. Solio Sambeki. Good morning.
Good morning, Tony.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
Yes, I am coming from Mumbai.
Okay, go on. Let's hear you.
Okay, this is that Pogbosto is gradually losing state. That just is true. Because Mr. President of Nigeria is because of the vote. So let India is not that it's now kind of state. I'll come to Mr. Toby. I wish I let the join ADC now. Let him make a good statement and join ADC now. That's this time. Then coming to Mr. Wijes, whatever you say is that Udala made the first mistake by succumbing to his antics instead by bowing down to Russia. Assuming that if you play at the first time and insist on that resistance, by now I've made a political statement. Everybody will stand bow down. And in case of someone that is ready to leave Fubala, his brain destroy Fubala with political ambition. That's in case our plans. Yes, Udala. So for that, Udala, I don't think Udala will take front term in the state.
Okay.
That's my decision. That's my this morning. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for calling. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Your name?
Yeah. My name is George. Calling from Asaba.
Go on.
Yeah. For me, I believe that P2B have no explanation to anybody before we make up in mind to join whatever any political party wants to join. If you're a good follower of P2B, you must respect his decision and whatever any plan that he have. Because somebody like me, 100% believe in him that if at all that he being a running mate to Atiku, it means nothing. Because all we need is some people that will rescue power from APC. Because we know the way that APC did everything within their power to rescue power from PDP in 2015. So talking about pride or why are you going to step down? We don't need it now. We need to do anything at all to make sure that the power has been rescued from APC. And once before we can achieve that, there must be some sacrifice will be on ground for you to be able to rescue that. Besides that, I don't believe that anything will make APC to lose the next election. We all know that saying that Tinubu have the highest odds, it's just by rigging. It's just by rigging. We all know that. If they say that let them do an election the normal way they do an election in every other client in the world, what are the benefits to say that this is something that will make executive win the next election? That's the question I will start. What exactly? You took away subsidy. Next month now, just tomorrow, we start paying tax. What exactly that the Nigerian city will say that this is what we are achieving from these people throughout these few years? Whether bandits are killing us, kidnapping us, every problem all over the place. So what the exactly that people will lay under? This is why this is going to win the next election. So let him do the needful and step down for Achikwa and be the running man, and let us see the way things are going to end up at the end of the day. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Valid opinion. But that's maybe I will reserve this towards the end of the show so that I will be able to put this in proper perspective. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, your name?
Chidi Chukuma joining you from home.
Go on, Chidi Chukuma.
Franklin and Dr. Tunim Sandix. Very good morning to you.
You're welcome, Chidi Chukuma.
Yeah, let me start with that tax through the controversial issue there. It needs to be investigated, number one. But I want to tell the listeners and all Nigerians that we warn you beforehand that the most powerful tax master is on the throne. We have been with him throughout his 8 years tenure as a governor of Lagos State. So what is going on in this country is just like Zacchaeus operation or Operation Zacchaeus. We remember that the Bible Zacchaeus, the tax master. The one on the throne is the tax master. He knows how to do it very well. So you people must be prepared for that because we warned you earlier. But I don't know why Nigeria should follow that route. Because you remember that our economy is not a tax-based economy. Just like Britain, we have mineral resources all over the place. And the mineral resources are being carried away on daily basis. Why should we be tax everybody in Nigeria, even when the economy or the living standard of the people is so poor? And they keep on planning how to take the small from our savings. It is very, very bad. I think the people that are on the throne are not here to govern. But they're just like a team of business people who want to become richer at the end of the day, not necessarily adding any value to this country or to care for the welfare of the people. But just how to do them. This is extortion, not taxation, but extortion. Good morning.
Thank you for joining. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, Franklin Nebuka.
Yes, good morning.
So, you can make a wonderful morning to you.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
Voice of Wisdom back from Asaba.
Go on.
You see, talking about Fubara and Wike, I would never cut Fubara in his life because there is a popular statement that says that goes this way. which is in English language, when you get to the devil, you are supposed to use a long spoon. But Fubara, instead of using a long spoon, Fubara went and ate with the devil with his bare hand. And now look at what he's passing through. So I'm not going to blame him. This is the consequences of him eating with the devil with a short spoon and with a, not just with a short spoon, but with an empty hand. So Fubara should be ready to face whatsoever that he has already planted. Good morning.
Good morning. Wait. Good morning. Thank you for calling.
Good morning, Franklin.
Good morning. Your name?
Good morning, my chief speaker, Tony Olitambeki.
You're welcome.
Always the voice of Honorable James, Mayor of Oku. Can I go?
Yes, go on.
Yes. What I want to say in NS is that it will be taking the right thing in the right direction. But I want to correct one impression. Like it told you something in Becky, day before yesterday, when you was analyzing, you said that Atiku will be one social state, one social state, and our president, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, one social state. I want to make it clear. Those states that we are mentioned by IMEC, that the president, our president now won, did not win those states. So all those things are just maneuvered and believed so that a miracle will come to play, and that is what is going on. I want to tell you categorically clear that the P2B and Atiku will react very well with good agreement to this food in 2027. They will landslidely win Tinubu. Just INEC is the problem. Just INEC will be the problem. Because I know now he has given us another INEC chairman. You see what happened in the other election that he has conducted. You have seen it. And with that, I don't trust him at all. The only problem where P2B and Atiku, it ends up that two of them will emerge and Atiku becoming the vying for President P2B, secondary him, is for them to watch out for INEC and the Diva issue and all this story concerning electronic voting. That is where the problem lies. But for Tinubu to win this election landslidely, not leading, it is impossible. Because everybody is crying and we have seen him. We don't think our voter card, we have not ready, and they keep ready.
All
Thank
right.
you and God bless you.
Okay, thank you. I'm tempted to say this now because each time people call and say, our voter card, we have dusted it, we have done this, we have done that. What is the voting strength of people who have dusted their their voter's card? Because each time we come on radio and we tell you the importance of going to register and mobilize so that we can show up our voting strength. We don't take it seriously. But when it comes to P2B is going to be on the ballot, you think that with your 2 million votes, you'll be able to surmount. I think we should think further than we are thinking now. Let's go to our Facebook page. Odilil Aloysius says, Happy New Year in advance. Malami and family should continue enjoying what others have enjoyed during his tenure as Minister of Justice. Surprised to me that he's crying for EFCC to obey court orders for his release. What goes around comes around. Secondly, I don't understand why governors are always comfortable when the deputies refuse to join them in moving to new political parties. I thought there is constitutional right of freedom of lawful association. What is happening with our politicians? He's asking from Umo Banam. Then Arinze Jimbwe from watching from Ibadan First Settlement. He says the fact is that Nigeria today, politics is if you can't beat them, join them. Those that are defecting to APC are those that have skeleton in their cupboard. As for P2B joining ADC today, it's a welcome development. Let us wait and see. Okay. And then Mazimuri Chikwadoro says OP officially joining ADC today is a personal decision and choice. Ochiatubo Lam, how can the federal government planning to start collecting taxes from prostitutes with the money generated? With the money generated from such service be fruitful to the development of the country? they are indirectly legalizing prostitution in this country. Sooner or later, they will also collect tax from kidnappers. He posted from Onitsha. Ogo Chukunenye, thank you for following. Chinagoro Favor, also thank you. And then Kapiro International, watching from Abwani, Enugu. Okay. He said, I think Wike should be worried more about Obi tsunami that is coming in 2027 than shouting on Fubara. Then Eric Prosper says, if I were to be a politician, I would be in the ruling party, which is APC. I want to use 1 million naira to open a barbering salon of my own in Onitsha, Anambra State, because I have been working in someone's barbering salon till date. The owner pays me 30% of the money the customer I barb pays. Oh, Chimbo. Alright, I got your drip now. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, then, leaving us, Chukwemeka, I was watching from Soka then. Anoms Emmy says, Obi is not a Confucianist. Rather, you are confusing yourself, always finding fault in the things concerning Obi. If you think politics is easy, why not run for an elected post in your senatorial zone? Okay, more dooms. Dominic watching from Japan, Chinagoro from Onitsha, and Kapiro is also enjoying the program all the way from Enugu. Okay, thank you all for following us, and we also hope to continue to do more. So Tony, somebody said you find fault in Obi's move, and I want us to put this in proper perspective, because each time anything about Peter Obi is mentioned, all the can piandi ba ya can never nanjo. And most times when we have this very conversation, we don't have a dispassionate conversation. It is mostly clouded with sentiment and kai. Now, let's put this into proper perspective, because each time people of the Southeast talk about what they are going to do with their vote, what is the voting strength of the Southeast? If eventually that the entire Southeast queues behind Obi, maybe the South, maybe the West, what is that our voting strength we can use to bargain, we can use to brag and say, okay, this is our brother, we must queue behind him?
Mostly, we don't vote. We don't come out to vote. I'm talking about Southeast. If you look at our voters turnout, it's one of the poorest. And sometimes we want this, we want that, but we don't take politics serious the way we take our businesses serious. And Wike was saying somebody went for contract and he went for power. And today, he has come back to somebody who has power. Power, many times, most of us should know this, supersedes all this contract business. I'm not saying businesses are not good. They are good. While you are there, also have eye for what? Power. But the point is, nobody's finding fault in Obi. We are just here spilling the truth. You may be obedient. You may not like to hear the truth. And we've said good things, and once we believe, you may not consider good. See, the thing is, there is no point being, just like we said during the analysis, there's no point going back to the analysis again. You are in ADC, according to you, supporting Labour candidates in Anambra State. Is that not confusion? Is that not confusion to you that is listening? It's confusion. But now he wants to, in fact, the same question has been thrown to him. Even Tanko Yanusa has no answer to that. He said that he has been there before, so he wants to conclude. See, the thing is, we must tell you the truth, whether you like to hear it or not. But the moment he picks, for me, I want, like, as a political observer, he has not been in ADC because he has not picked membership card. And I said during the analysis, there's nothing like coalition because we've not seen parties collapsing into that, the party. So we must tell you the truth. Maybe the way you perceive it may differ, but the point remains that we are here to educate. But I've said it many times, the best option he has he's my friend. The best option he has is to move into ADC, as he's about to move today. And if for whatever reason he fails to pick the ticket, he should align with Atiku. Yes, and I said both of them are forces. He's a force. Atiku is also a force. If two forces met together, we now wait for INEC and also the APC. See, We've seen what happened in 2023. And don't ever think that 2023 will be like 2027. Everybody would like to outsmart the next. It's a game of wit. No eat and have peace. Electoral reforms, I have said many times that ADC should be pursuing. APC pursued electoral reforms to get power from Jonathan. That was why we saw the issue of beavers being used for the first time. Before it was card reader. So that I'm looking for where's ADC. If they're really serious about this election, they should go for certain electoral reforms and see if, by possible electronic collation, electronic transmission, they may not get electronic voting, and see how INEC will be made to be independent through electoral reforms.
Okay, so for us to wrap up this very short, let me repeat. I know that very soon, in 2026, INEC is going to announce voter registration in Anambra State.
Yeah.
And very soon they're also going to announce the beginning of the second phase. The best thing you can do for yourself, if you like Obi, or if you don't like what is happening in Nigeria, is
go and register.
Mobilize anybody who is of age. Go first and register and begin to show up the voting strength of the South.
If I were in any of these Southeast associations, we must make it mandatory. If you do not have a voter card, you will not receive anything. You can't be conferred a chieftaincy title. You cannot be this. In fact, churches should do it such a way. If you don't have voter's card, you should not receive Holy Communion. See, we must find a way to make our people to see or to take things serious. We must find a way.
The thing is, I'll repeat again. People are going to cry. People are going to say, Obi is the magic, Obi is this, we're going to make sure. Fantastic. But I want to tell you,
no voting booth in the, I think, on social media. Was it Ben? Benjamin Kanu was saying it the other day.
The thing is that you have to put in the work. And before any region or before any geopolitical zone can take the Southeast seriously when it comes to power negotiation, we must first of all show up our voting strength. That is the foundation. And at the same time is why you are being optimistic about 2027.
Yeah.
Let me say again, approach it with a contained optimism, because at the end of the day, people are going to be disappointed.
That is the point. It's not about going to social media, Facebook to write whatever you want to write. There is no, voting unit or voting booth right there. The most important thing, most of us that even comment, they don't have voters. I have my own voters card. Many don't even have. They don't wish to have. They think they can use mouth to change whatever that is not to be changed. The thing is, Southeast, we are still poor when it comes to electioneering in Nigeria. Voting strength, we are poor. And so many things we are poor. We take business to be Alpha and Omega. Can we also take politics to be Alpha and Omega?
Okay. So I will leave you with that today. Ponder on this, and maybe that should be a New Year resolution to make a change when it comes to political participation in 2026. My name is Frank Nebka. Good morning.
104.7 Udala Radio.